Good evening. Tonight, we are launching an investigative look into a quiet revolution that is actively shaking the foundations of the multi-billion-dollar global music industry. For decades, the mainstream media has conditioned aspiring musicians to believe a specific narrative, that global stardom is a statistical impossibility without signing away your creative freedom, your rights, and your financial future to a major corporate cartel. However, our ongoing investigation reveals that a profound shift in leverage is occurring right before our eyes, spearheaded by an independent vocalist who managed to completely bypass the traditional entertainment gatekeepers. As we navigate the media landscape, this particular operation has rendered old-school record labels entirely obsolete, amassing metrics that rival the world's most heavily funded pop stars without a single dollar of Hollywood backing. While executive boardrooms spend millions trying to artificially engineer viral moments, a meticulously executed digital strategy has quietly built an untouchable media juggernaut. The mainstream music machine rarely addresses how this level of sovereign success is possible, but tonight, we pull back the curtain on the exact business blueprint. To truly understand how this structural disruption occurred, our reporting team must first dismantle the televised illusion that almost trapped her career before it even began. The investigation traces back to 2018, an era when network television promised a golden ticket to fame through highly publicized national vocal competitions. A 14-year-old Lucy Thomas stepped onto that massive broadcast stage, instantly stunning millions of viewers with an extraordinary vocal ability that completely her age. Yet, in a development that stunned audiences, her trajectory on the program came to an unexpected halt in the semifinals. Historically, a television elimination is where the narrative ends for the vast majority of reality contestants. Industry data suggests that a staggering percentage of talent show alumni quickly fall victim to intense post-show obscurity, or worse, find themselves bound to predatory corporate options that exploit their temporary likeness before discarding them entirely. Our sources familiar with these broadcast structures indicate that these programs are often optimized to lock young talent into incredibly restrictive legal frameworks. For Lucy, however, that televised exit was not a defeat. Our legal and industry analysis indicates it was a massive stroke of luck. By exiting the mainstream broadcast apparatus before the final contracts were locked, she successfully evaded the heavy-handed formatting that typically binds commercial winners. She completely avoided the fate of being molded into a fleeting, hyper-commercialized pop caricature, walking out of the studio with her artistic integrity completely intact to execute a calculated business pivot. Rather than taking the predictable path of begging major global labels for an entry-level development contract, a highly strategic partnership was formed with an independent boutique outfit. To the untrained observer, aligning with a compact, independent entity seemed like a massive step backward for an artist possessing such undeniable global appeal. Historically, major labels have weaponized their massive capital reserves to monopolize radio airplay, billboard space, and mainstream press coverage, creating an ecosystem that independent talent could rarely penetrate. However, our deep dive into this specific independent infrastructure reveals a completely different economic model. This partnership provided a rare commodity in the modern music landscape: absolute creative autonomy and total legal ownership of the master recordings. This meant no corporate committees dictating her image, no marketing teams demanding controversial publicity stunts, and no executives forcing her to compromise her signature classical crossover style. While her mainstream peers were being forced into highly synthesized, trend-chasing tracks that quickly aged out of relevance, she was insulated, recording timeless, emotionally resonant music aimed at a deeply loyal demographic. It was a slow-burn strategy that completely ignored the traditional radio circuit, leaving contemporary observers wondering how an independent venture could possibly survive without corporate distribution networks. Our media analytics team has broken down the staggering data behind her digital trajectory, and the numbers represent a complete statistical anomaly for an independent operation. Without millions of dollars in corporate backing, her team turned directly to advanced digital video distribution platforms, allowing highly sophisticated retention algorithms to act as her global public relations machine. Month after month, high-quality performances and meticulously produced covers were uploaded directly to the internet, generating an algorithmic response that was nothing short of historic. Her digital channel effortlessly crossed the multi-million subscriber threshold, and her total cumulative views skyrocketed past an incredible 1.5 billion. To put those metrics into perspective, her single rendition of the classic track, Hallelujah, pulled in over 70 million views alone, routinely outperforming the heavily funded promotional campaigns of multi-platinum, label-backed pop stars. This was not temporary viral fame. This was a highly sustainable, globally distributed audience that spanned across multiple continents simultaneously. By cutting out the traditional media middlemen, her operation proved that if the content commands intense viewer retention, the historic gatekeepers lose all their leverage. But as these massive digital numbers began transforming into actual financial independence, a quiet wave of panic began spreading through the upper echelons of the music industry cartel. Unconfirmed reports and whispers from industry insiders suggest that elite record executives have become deeply alarmed by this level of independent momentum. The traditional music syndicates rely entirely on a singular foundational myth: that creators absolutely need corporate financial backing and executive connections to achieve global scale. When an independent operation completely dismantles that myth by achieving elite-level metrics on its own, it threatens the very survival of the major label system. Speculation has surfaced that multiple high-level talent scouts have repeatedly attempted to approach her management team with highly lucrative contract offers, only to be promptly turned away because no corporate deal could match the financial and creative freedom she already possesses. The real controversy brewing in the entertainment world isn't a public scandal. It is the fact that a self-made artist has exposed the extreme inefficiencies and predatory nature of modern recording contracts. By showing future generations of musicians that they can retain their own profits and creative control, she has inadvertently sparked an ideological rebellion. Major corporations are realizing that their ability to exploit young talent is rapidly diminishing in an era where creators hold all the digital leverage. And as her team advances further, her aggressive new ventures are permanently solidifying her status as an untouchable entity. Our latest market reports indicate that her business model has officially transitioned into a state of total economic sovereignty. Her operation has heavily integrated direct-to-fan monetization platforms, completely bypassing traditional streaming vulnerabilities and ensuring that her core global audience directly funds her future projects. This decentralized system also backed the release of her studio album, Portrait, which dropped to massive critical acclaim and immense digital sales, completely independent of major retail distribution chains. Furthermore, she successfully crossed over into the elite world of live theater, securing a monumental role in the West End production of the musical. This multidimensional expansion proves that an independent digital audience can successfully translate into live box office power and theatrical prestige without corporate backing. She has effectively built a self-sustaining ecosystem where every single dollar generated goes directly back into the creative process and her own team, rather than lining the pockets of corporate shareholders. It is in modern entertainment economics that has completely redefined what it means to be a successful mogul in the digital age. This investigative report brings us to a definitive conclusion about the shifting tides of global entertainment. The meteoric rise of Lucy Thomas is a clear, undeniable signal that the historic era of the all-powerful record label is rapidly coming to an end. By surviving the pitfalls of reality television, rejecting the empty promises of corporate contracts, and leveraging the sheer power of the digital algorithm, she has created a flawless blueprint for the next generation of global creators. The old system built on exploitation, manufactured images, and lopsided contracts is crumbling in the face of decentralized technology. As we sign off tonight, we are left with one profound question that every aspiring artist and music executive must face. If a single independent artist can capture the hearts of billions entirely on her own terms, why would anyone ever sign their rights away to a corporate label again? This is a special report. Good night.